Embattled Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was forced to back down on controversial plans to overhaul the country's judiciary on Monday amid unprecedented nationwide strikes, including a shutdown of the international airport, as per the reports. When there's an opportunity to avoid civil war through dialogue, I, as Prime Minister, am taking a time out for dialogue, Netanyahu said in a nationally televised address on Monday. He said he was determined to pass a judicial reform but called for an attempt to achieve broad consensus. The delay means that the bill will not be put to a vote in the parliament until the end of April at the earliest. Netanyahu added that he was aware of the tension and is listening to the people. However, the Israeli Prime Minister hinted that the halt was only temporary. He stressed that the overhaul was necessary and added that the criticism of refusal to train or serve in the military in protest at the planned changes. He said, "Refusing is the end of our country," as per the news report. After Netanyahu's announcement, his Shdut labor union leader Oneindia announced that a general strike which swept away the nation on Monday would now be called off, CNN reported, citing its affiliate Channel 13. Oneindia warned the Israeli Prime Minister against reviving the legislation. He said, "If the Prime Minister returns to aggressive legislation, he will find us facing him. Legislation without consensus will be met with a general strike." Netanyahu spoke after tens of thousands of Israelis demonstrated outside the Knesset or the parliament, and the workers launched a nationwide strike in a dramatic escalation of the mass protest movement aimed at halting his plan. The kiosk shut down much of the country and threatened to paralyze the economy, with flights suspended at Ben Gurion International Airport and work halted at the country's main seaports. Kindergartens and malls were also closed, as well as the branches of the fast food chains McDonald's. The United States welcomed Netanyahu's announcement and urged the Israeli leaders to negotiate. "We strongly urge Israeli leaders to find a compromise as soon as possible," said White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said that the US President Joe Biden had been very forthright with Netanyahu regarding his concern over the situation. British Foreign Secretary James Cleverly also welcomed the announcement. Under the proposals, the Israeli government will have control over the appointment of judges, and parliament would have the power to override the Supreme Court decisions, according to a CNN report. The Netanyahu-led government also sought to change the procedure of how the judges are chosen and remove government ministries' independent legal advisors. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister fired his Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who had called for a halt to plans to overhaul the country's court system, CNN reported. Netanyahu's office announced Gallant's removal in a statement after he became the first member of the cabinet to break ranks over the proposals, which have sparked weeks of protests. Yoav Gallant called for a halt to the judicial reforms in a speech on Saturday. He said going ahead with the proposals could pose a threat to Israel's security. Protests had erupted in Israel's capital Tel Aviv after Netanyahu fired his defense minister, Yoav Gallant, for challenging his judicial overhaul plan.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.